used to glorify that life. That baller, that gangster, that hustler. I grew up with all those visions in my head. Then I went to the penitentiary and I saw how fucking flawed it is. How flawed all that pussy shit is. I get a message every day from someone I was busted with. Hey, so-and-so wants me to send you a message. And the person's just lit, just high. It's so fucking weak. It's the same fucking thing as that fat dude walking around the gym every day. You know he wants to be jacked. You know that pussy-ass prison motherfucking mentality have a motherfucker wants a good life, wants love, wants everything positive and peaceful. Nobody wants the chaos. Negativity is just fucking easy, bitch. Getting a positive outcome and positive attention takes actual effort, motherfucker. That shit's what's hard. You know the most gangster thing I ever did? The most gangster thing I ever did was turn my fucking life around. You get me? You understand this, motherfucker? Are you paying attention, baby girl? I was on the yard telling people stories of popping bottles, making millions, driving Rovers, living in high-rises before I went to prison. Telling them those stories on the yard before I went to prison. And none of these motherfuckers had stories like that. They thought it was just made up. Why the hell would you spend $400 on a We had money. You're supposed to have something so much more significant that the lesser drops off, and the significance is you. Like you in your life, creating the best you for the world, you being an offering for everyone you come across, that is what your purpose is. Right. So once I made myself and the man I was creating my purpose, now I had work to do all fucking day. Most people are gauging who they are when shit's going good. I gauge who I am when everything's so fucked and the bottom falls out and life is just at its fucking rock bottom. Who am I at that point is the man that I have to create, and that's the man I have to operate from. Because it's a biased measurement if you're like, hey, this is me on my best fucking day. Like, I don't even gauge that shit. Only when shit's fucked, that's the man who I am. And that's why I never miss. Because most people miss because the day's a little off and they choose to fucking miss. The day's off, that's when I prove who the fuck I am, you know? Right. Something as simple as looking at a frequency chart and understanding why you're at a low frequency, why you're at a high frequency, and the actions, the thoughts, and the steps that get us to a high frequency from a low frequency. It's very simple to see that your frequency is what you frequently see, and if the world around you is looking negative, it's because you're at a low frequency. How do we bring you up? I always tell people, don't even fucking worry about Mike. Don't even trip on Mike. Like, just say, am I at a low frequency or I'm at a high one? And if you're at a low one, quit expecting a high outcome, high output from low frequency. Don't do it. Just get yourself back high and watch how problems turn into possibilities. And when you're low, all you see is problems. There's no way out. So what I did the whole time in prison was cultivate a positive mindset where all I saw was this vision I was constructing of me on the streets, super successful, healing people the same way I healed myself. In my morning process, this is where I find everything. If I went too much through the day, I would be too impacted by bills, world, life, and all these things to where my content wouldn't construct the same. I have to make my videos directly after a morning process where I get to a high frequency, and then I just have to just push that energy to everybody. And the message is, I like to say that when you're aligned, you're an antenna. You're an antenna, and you're there at that point, you just become a vessel that is ready for change down here. So you'll be able to download everything coming from above. And people just don't know how to get aligned or tapped in. And that's really what I teach people the most, because it's hidden in the stupidest shit. Like, people think detachment is not owning anything, but detachment is not letting anything own you. So people try to detach from shit and like get rid of their cars, all their shit. The only things that will cause you to actually sacrifice or detach from anything that would keep you from your conscious state. Because people always, how do you get to that place in the morning, Wes? I said, there's no distance to travel. So why would I have to do anything? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, let me tell you this. I get up at 2:45, I work out at 4, and I do all these things. They're like, well, why do you get up at 2:45? Like, what do you get from it? And I'm like, and they're like, why do you go to the gym at 4 a.m.? What do you get from it? It's what I get rid of, motherfucker. I get rid of all those underlying negative beliefs those low frequency emotions, and so I can get to where we naturally are. We're naturally conscious, highly elevated, high frequency beings, but all the stupid fucking shit we've learned from lesser motherfuckers is what's brought us to that level. So being around people like Mike who say, and Mike just says, fuck it, I can do anything. Those are the motherfuckers you got to get around. The people who don't have limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. That's what I tell people is during times of adversity, through your self-talk and your actions, you develop your strengths and weaknesses. And everybody out here is so mentally weak, they complain without suffering. And the mentally strong, they suffer without complaining. So as I wake up at 2:45, the first thing I tell myself is it's not about you. It's not about you. I envision myself well above the planet. I see like lights, like these little dots on your wall. And these are all people that are in the collective space, the collective consciousness that I'm speaking to. And I'm telling them I'm up, I'm ready to serve you today. And here we are, you know. And it's not about you. It's nothing about Wes. There's no selfish self-talk. I'm tired. There's no self-indulgent behaviors, nothing. Everything is about servitude and how I can best serve everyone today. And then I go in, this is all about self-transcendence. So that 2:45 a.m. wake up is for everybody else. And then I go into my workout. This is self-transcendence as well. I go to the workout just to get to the heightened frequency and a positive mental attitude so that I can bring the best me to everybody else. Most people go work out to get swole. That's a byproduct of showing up to cultivate the best energy possible. If you show up for how you feel and cultivating the best energy possible, then you can't be results driven. And the man who takes more pride in the steps it takes to get the result than the result itself, he can't be stopped. So I take more pride in the steps and the feeling. In prison, you only had the fucking feeling. Right. You only had the feeling. There was no mirrors. There was no fucking pool party. We got on Instagram for a one flick real quick and checked messages later. But I mean, you had to just show up for the fucking feeling to get rid of all that negativity inside. So the byproduct was a jacked motherfucker. So everything was a byproduct of something internal. All external, everything we built externally was a byproduct of this beautiful internal state we were cultivating. So then after the workout, I go straight into like a YouTube video. I go shoot my YouTube video when I'm at the heightened state of frequency, and I don't care about me. Like, I'm going to get the fucking video out. I don't give a fuck if I don't even have a topic. I'm sitting the shit down, and I owe everybody my word. So the cornerstone of my process is creation of the man I always needed my whole life. So the man I always needed my whole life was someone who would keep their word no matter fucking what. And that's what I do to my followers and my people and everybody I work with is no matter what, I'm sticking to these things I told you I'd stick to so that when you're at your low point or when anything's happening, you can count on me.